You do the talking. Hello. Welcome to our thing.
Welcome to the Swolemates update.
Mhm.
So we're talking today about off-season games because we're both serious off-season, right?
Yeah, we're both seriously
Way off-season. So the question is, how do you set yourself up for games? Like, we both question things a lot. Are you really gaining? What do you need to do to gain? What should you do to make a plan for your off-season games? How do you even know? Where would you start?
I would start with somebody smarter than me because I ain't got to figure it out. No, I don't know. Let's see here. I would make sure that one you have to be in a caloric surplus. That's the number one.
Don't be a
But
person that refuses to add enough calories to gain muscle. You will never gain muscle if you don't eat calories.
There's so many people. I want to stay super shredded, but I also want to gain like 10 pounds of muscle in the off season. No, just shut up. You're not doing that. That's not happening. Not for 90% of the people out there. That's not happening.
Yeah.
So you need to have a decent surplus, but you don't want it to be overboard.
So how do you know if it's too much?
If you start gaining too much weight in a week. So
and you got to give it a little while to catch up too. Like,
yeah, it's like
if you're setting your macros up, I always tell my clients like 10 to 14 days, you're really going to kind of know what it's doing. That's if you hit your macros. So you have to hit your macros for one thing. You have to know where they need to be in a little bit of a surplus, and then you work on building. Don't just jump off the deep end and like it's the same way with cutting. Like you don't necessarily want to, you might have a quicker drop when you cut than you would add when you're trying to gain. So like in off-season gains, you don't want to just add like 1,000 calories. And you don't want to just dive head first into like the dirty bulk either. Luke knows about the dirty bulk.
I've done it. You don't want to do it.
Don't want to do it. That's gaining way too much fat.
You don't want to walk off the stage and throw all your give a fucks into the trash. That's
out the window as you're driving away from the show venue. You drive away with the
that's not going to work out for you in the long run. So you want to make sure that you've got a surplus. It's not too much of a surplus. You want to make sure that you keep your fat relatively not low, but don't, I mean, you're not going to be eating a bunch of Burger King and fast food and whatever. You need to have it not crazy fat and put your carbs in there. That's where I would have your calorie surpluses in your carbs, and then have the protein to back up the muscle gain.
Yeah, I mean, your protein can go up like when you're trying to gain muscle, but honestly, your protein should not vary a ton, at least from like if you were cutting and then you start like into the off season, you wouldn't make a huge jump in protein, but you can go up. Like, I do think it's important. Like, if you're trying to gain muscle, you do want to keep probably bumping your protein up a little bit to an extent, but probably the extra calories are going to be mostly from carbs and fats.
Yeah. Okay. So then this is all for natural competitors then. But you don't want too much fat.
Yeah. No.
So
I mean, I would typically for most people, I would say I always adjust things based on macrograms. But like if you were looking at percentages, you really don't want to be much more than like 30 to 35. I mean, like
even
35%
think
is like high.
That's way too high. I think
I
you
mean,
sh-
not necessarily, some people are different,
you
and you
shouldn't-
know, every person is going to have a
even in
different.
a calorie surplus bulking, you shouldn't be more than a half a gram per pound of body weight.
Well, I know, but what I'm
But that wouldn't be 30%. It'd be like 25% tops.
it depends. Depends.
Then you're not eating enough carbs and protein.
Okay. So anyway, I think that was the main thing about the off-season games.
Yeah.
Don't try to stay lean and gain at the same time.
Can people? Yeah. Are you one of those people? I mean, do you really want to find out?
Well, I
I
mean,
think you'd already know if you were one of those people. And
if
you're
you've never
probably not.
lifted,
And if you're
then you can
natural,
put
you
on muscle
probably
quick.
aren't either.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that like that was like the main thing that we wanted to talk about. I'm just checking my notes. So yeah. So why wouldn't you just dirty bulk just for the fact that
You're gonna
you're gonna gain too much fat?
Yeah, it'll be too much fat.
Well, it's
And
so
then
much
that's-
harder to lose. Now,
It's harder to lose.
granted, not everybody's a competitor, and this might not be for competitors, but if you're just trying to gain muscle, then obviously you're going to have to go through phases, sort of just like you were a competitor, even if you don't compete. This is the problem with why people don't ever change in the gym. Their physiques never change because they never really try to gain muscle or lose fat. They just kind of work out, right? And we're going to talk about that on the next topic video. So be sure you come back.
Mhm.
Okay. So we'll see you on the next one.